Good afternoon, everybody. This is the Two All Farts. My name's Chuck.
I'm looking on the better looking at 204s. What's that clutch on your shirt there?
It's a band.
You see
It's a
that?
band called Clutch. I see Alabama softball
We're leading 9-1 in the bottom of the second.
in the World Series.
No, for the regionals. If we win this, we go to super regionals. And the next
Okay.
game coming up at 2 o'clock is guess who?
Burn.
Nope. Texas
Texas
State
State.
and Texas A. If they win, they'll advance to the super regionals.
All right.
And A&M just barely beat them the other day, 1-0. And so that was a good game last night, and put them into the championship game this afternoon. So I'll be watching that one this afternoon too.
It's like you're having a good time.
Yeah, I like watching the softball, especially when I have connections like your daughter with Texas State, and then us Alabama. And I like UTSA because your wife and my daughter and granddaughter are UTSA, so I like rooting for those teams.
I do too.
And it's good when you see them doing good. And who the hell would expect Texas State to be competing against Texas A&M, right?
But you know what? That's the difference when it comes down to the smaller team sports like baseball, basketball, softball, volleyball for that matter.
Yeah.
You don't have to have a whole lot of money to be competitive at that level, not like football.
Yeah, that's like this after Southeast Louisiana. We're playing Alabama for the regional championship.
Yeah.
But you look at their records. There's not a whole lot of difference in their records, win loss wise.
That's true.
So it's fun. That's competition. That's where it should be. Little guys should be able to, and I kind of like that format. I don't know how you could do it in football or basketball. Basketball kind of does that somewhat, I guess. But
I can see the game over your shoulder right there. I said I can see the game over your shoulder right there.
Yeah, but and I'm gonna tell you, Southeast Louisiana take it to them yesterday.
Yeah.
It was a good game. But anyway, it's fun.
Of course.
Went yesterday to the volleyball game and saw Aubrey. She's teaching or coaching Braylon. Of course, Braylon 2 weeks ago had a severe high ankle sprain, so she's not been able to play. But and they lost out in their championship playoffs yesterday. Not championship playoffs, but the tournament play. So, but it's good to go support and watch them play and stuff like that.
So, probably need to apologize to everybody because we didn't do a podcast last week. What the heck happened last Sunday?
We had Mother's Day last week.
That's right. It was Mother's Day. And we went over to your house.
We miss having Brenda and Mackenzie over, but I'm sure they had a good time celebrating together.
Yeah, they did. And Mackenzie happens to be here in the house, but she's just right down the hall sleeping because that's what young people do. I can't call her a teenager anymore because she's 21. But yeah, she's still sleeping.
And it was fun having you over with Tina and Jordan to celebrate with you, Mom. I think she had a good time, and that hydrangea flower that you brought, we're finally trying to get it transplanted today into a bigger pot, and hopefully we'll get it to grow. They're kind of temperamental.
Yeah, I'm seeing that with our plant that we potted about a week ago.
Yeah, so
I think it'll bounce back though.
Yeah, we put it in a bigger pot today. You got to be careful where you put it. We got it on the back porch. You get too much sun, then it won't survive very well. So you got to put it. It needs the morning sun, but the afternoon shade. So hopefully, when we put it on the back porch, we'll transplant it this morning, fertilize and all that kind of stuff with some good potting soil. So we'll see how it goes.
And just this past week, it's just been busy at work. I mean, these last minute, late afternoon meetings, and the almost hour long drive home. And you get home, you just don't want to do nothing.
Well, that 1604 is a mess, isn't it?
It's going to be a mess until they finish all that construction.
Yeah, it's completely closed this weekend, but they've got another year or two left on that.
Yeah, but I think the closures, I think they'll be done in a few months. Once they get all of the pieces on the flyover in place, they shouldn't need to close it because when they're moving those big things, up to connect, that's why they need to close the road because of safety.
Yeah, but t- I was talking to a friend yesterday over the weekend. We were talking about this. Time they get this thing finished, we'll be behind schedule because people have moved into San Antonio quicker. Last year, San Antonio is the fastest growing city in the United States. What, 23,000 people moved in just last year alone? And the roads is not keeping up with the growth. Of course, it's been
Well,
that way for
that's just the thing about probably not just this town. I'm sure most towns, they love to collect the tax dollars, but they don't like to spend the tax dollars on the infrastructure.
or they don't understand how to spend it. I don't know which. Whether they don't want to spend it or just don't understand how. But it sure makes it hard for the people who live here to get around.
The biggest problem is about 5, 6 years ago, they decided when, everybody wants to live near Lackland and all of that stuff on that side of town. They'll build the houses, but they don't do shit for the roads. They
No,
will take Petrenko Road, build thousands of houses on both sides of that road, and then once they're occupied, then they're like, "Hmm, maybe we should widen the road because of all the traffic." It's like they create the mess, and then they make the mess worse because they didn't try to get a hold in front of the
yeah,
problem when they were doing the construction to begin with.
exactly. So they
They
could
could have
do
been
it better,
widening those roads when they were building the houses.
but they could do a lot better job on planning. I'm sure.
That's my complaint is
Yeah,
if you're gonna build, start widening the roads when you start building. Don't
yeah.
wait till after the fact.
When Matt and I were talking, that's Aubrey's husband, yesterday at the volleyball game, he had to go to Bernie. It took him 2 hours to navigate through 1604 and all the way out that way. It's
And just imagine if you're a long haul trucker.
Yep. So I guess it could be worse, right?
Yeah, we could be communists. It could be in Moscow or China or something. Yeah, it could be a lot worse.
Well, tell me some good news. What's this about this award that you just got?
I won at the wing. It was a quarterly award. The same award that I had won, I told you about a few weeks ago at the group. Now I won at the wing.
So what's the next level after wing?
Uh, Numbered Air Force.
How about those schools? You got selected for two different schools. How you going to manage that?
I don't know. That was a dumb thing to do. A friend of mine that I worked with, she had told me about this data analytics graduate certificate course that she had applied for during COVID, and I, I guess there was a long wait list, and she said, "Oh man, it's like a 2 year wait list." So I'm like, I'll go ahead and apply for it, not thinking anything. Months go by, and then I realized, wait a minute, did I apply for that course or not? So I found something else at the National Defense University, and it was going to be an IT program management, and I applied, and then I got turned down because I thought I had sent my transcripts in, so I had to reapply, sent my transcripts in, and then about 2 months ago, I got an email from them saying, "Hey, we got everything, but the IT program management graduate certificate program, we're not doing that anymore. So you can either cancel or pick one of the other courses that we got." And then I'm like, if I'm taking this data analytics graduate certificate with AFIT, maybe I'll take this chief data officer graduate certificate program at the National Defense University. The 16th of this month, they notified me that I was accepted into the program. So, unfortunately, due to my stupidity, I will be probably doing both graduate certificate programs at the same time, which is basically like doing a full master's degree.
But the both of the courses.
Yeah, they're
Oh,
they're
that's
online.
good. Just take up your time, make sure you're playing well.
Yeah, most definitely.
If you had to attend in person, you'd be in a gym.
Yeah, I would have had to defer one of the classes for sure,
Yeah.
but I need to, on my free time, start learning how to program in Python because I'll be doing a lot of statistical analysis using Python to do the data analytics piece.
That sounds like fun. be some good courses, good advancement opportunities for you.
I'm hoping so. I'm hoping so.
Yeah. So how was the whiskey tasting thing this weekend?
Wasn't bad. It was good to get out, good to try some bourbons. Bad in the sense that it wasn't everything that I thought it was going to be. I thought they would have more of the higher end distillers there, but they didn't. I think the highest end distillers that they brought in my opinion, were the Heaven Hill Distillery, Four Roses, and one other one. I can't. The name just escapes me. I was just telling Brenda about it downstairs. But they had representatives there from Widow Jane, uh, Juke Joint, which is a new-ish one out of Memphis, and I loved everything that they had. Garrison Brothers was there,
Good.
uh, Penelope. They have a whole host of different types of bourbons. They had all kinds of stuff there. There's a lot of
How,
people.
how did the Garrison brothers rank up there with some of the other brands? Because they're
Like most
relatively a
people,
Texas type thing, right?
well, yeah, but there's a lot of Texas bourbons out there right now. There's Yellow Rose out of Houston, Balcones up in Waco, which is the oldest distillery whiskey maker in Texas right now, and they just hit their 15th year. So, I tried some of theirs. Some of the newer bourbons that are out on the scene, like Widow Jane, Frey Ranch. Really like the Frey Ranch, and believe it or not, I didn't think I would like rye, because if you drink a bourbon and you get that spicy finish at the end, that kind of heat, not the
Hmm.
heat from the alcohol, but the heat from the ingredients, that's usually because of the rye. So you would think if I drink a bourbon that has a high rye content, I won't like it. But some of the ryes that I tried were very, very sweet. It's kind of counterintuitive, but so to become a rye, it has to be more than 51% or more rye as the main
Right.
ingredient, just like bourbon has to be 51% or more corn as the first ingredient. So I was drinking bourbons, I was drinking ryes. I remember what the other big, more well-known distillery was a Michter's. So Michter's, Heaven Hill, and what was the other one? Said Heaven Hill and something else. Then I couldn't remember the third. Now I remember the third, but now I can't remember the second.
Is Maker's Mark? Is that?
Makers was not there. Buffalo Trace, none of their stuff was there. Wild Turkey, none of their stuff was there.
Hmm.
So you know what I'm saying? It's a, a lot of the bigger, higher end, they just weren't there. And one of the newer bourbon makers that's out there on the scene, and they're making a lot of noise, is Smoke Wagon. They weren't there, and I was kind of hoping to see them, but um, the new whiskey distillery out of Austin, called Still Austin, as you know, in a pot still. They were
Hmm.
there. Their stuff's pretty good. I liked it. I like their rye a lot. There was a lot of distillers there, but not a lot of the big heavyweights were there.
Right. How'd you go by yourself, or did somebody go with you?
Just me, myself, and
Just
I,
you?
just the three of us. Originally, I had bought tickets for Brenda and I to see Stevie Nicks last night, and I bought those back in February. And then shortly around that same time, I saw that this whiskey riot thing's going on, and I looked, and it's like, oh, it's on the same day, but it starts at 3 o'clock if you get the VIP package. If not, it starts at 4. Then I started thinking, you know what? Mother's Day was the week ago. Maybe Mackenzie would like to go with Brenda to see Stevie Nicks, because she likes Stevie Nicks too. So she decided to go see Stevie Nicks, and I was free to clear to go taste bourbon. That's what I
So,
did yesterday. Was drank a lot of bourbon and spit
yeah,
out a lot of bourbon, because if you would have drank all of the what they poured in there, there'd have been a whole bunch of drunks on the floor. And there was a lot of people there, and they all look like me and you. They're all our age. Not a
yeah.
lot of younger people.
Wonder why that is. I guess different culture and different.
Just
Yeah.
doing other things. There was also, because this was at one of the expo centers at the Freeman Coliseum, so it wasn't in the Freeman Coliseum. It was in some of these big halls that they have behind it. Well, there was a car show going on in one of the expo halls also.
Yeah.
So
Well,
people
let's
were
see.
probably
The
at the car
Knicks.
show. People were at the bourbon tasting. There's just all kinds of things going on now. This is the seventh largest city.
Yeah, San Antonio has a lot of stuff going on pretty much year round. The Stevie Nicks concert, was pretty big, from what I understand.
Yeah, they had a great time. Brenda was sending me pictures and little video clips, and while it was going on, everybody was having a great time.
Yeah. Well, we got a holiday coming up this here in a couple of weeks. A week from tomorrow?
We sure do.
Yeah, Memorial Day.
Yes,
I think it's important to understand that hopefully people understand what Memorial Day is and don't confuse it with Veterans Day.
correct. So the first word is what? Memorial. And we memorialize dead people, not live people. So that's the difference. We remember our fallen veterans who are no longer
Yeah,
with us. That's who we commemorate.
there's a lot of history. One of the more memorable post-war commemorations was one organized by former slaves in Charleston, South Carolina. That commemoration occurred less than a month after the Confederate forces surrendered in 1965. However, in 1966, the federal government declared Waterloo, New York, the birthplace of Memorial Day. There's a lot of history about it, a lot of controversy about, well, not controversy, but a lot of different thoughts on how it started and where it began and all those kind of things.
Good to know information.
Yeah. The red poppy has become the symbol of Memorial Day. This traced to a poem by Canadian John McCrane, who was a lieutenant colonel in World War I in Flanders Field. That's a great poem. If anybody interested in this stuff, I really encourage them to read that poem.
I always thought the red poppy symbolized World War One.
Yeah, and I want to give a big shout out to my good friend, Staff Sergeant Bruce Garland Tyndall. He was born in 1943. He and I were high school buddies. In fact, he didn't graduate. He quit high school and joined the Army in our senior year. Of course, he had failed a couple of grades. He was a little bit older, but we used to have a lot of fun, and they had a little farm over by Valula Tea Garden. And he used to ride horses, so I'd go over there and we'd ride horses, and Bruce was something else. He was killed on August 24th, 1970 in the Ben Dung, Providence. I got something I'll read to you.
Okay.
I think it's important that we remember all of our people who sacrificed. Staff Sergeant Bruce Garland Tyndall was awarded the Bronze Star Medal of Valor with combat distinguishing device for his exemplary courage under fire. He was also awarded the Bronze Star Medal for Merit. He served as an armor crewman and was assigned to ATRP 3rd Squadron, 4th Cavalry, 25th Infantry Division in Vietnam. And he's buried at Fort Benning, Georgia. So one of these days, when we get a chance and I go home, I'm going to make a trip out to Fort Benning so I can go by and have one last goodbye.
Okay. And speaking of trips, don't we have another trip planned?
Yeah, we got one coming up here pretty soon. That's going to be a fun trip.
Well, it ain't pretty soon. It's at the end of November. We got a few months.
Yeah, I'm going to
So
tell
kind
you.
of
I'm
put that one
excited.
on the fly, didn't we, last weekend?
Yeah, that's going to. I'm looking forward to that when you get up to Oklahoma. That's going to be a game.
Go see Alabama up in Oklahoma,
We're
in
going
Norman,
to
Oklahoma.
find out pretty quick how their board does. I'm going to tell you, everything I'm reading, seeing, he's getting a lot of transfer portals. Now, of course, that don't mean a whole lot. It's what you do on the field, but
Well, and not just that, the commitments he's even getting. That doesn't mean anything until they sign, and then signing doesn't mean anything until they show up.
Yeah, but they get in there, and that competition sure makes the next guy step up. And you'll find out real quick who wants to play and who don't want to play. So
Oh, for sure. And I think there's a lot of excitement that he's bringing. And you look at the talent that he had and made it so much better at Washington and all the other schools that he's been at. He ain't been nothing but a winner, right?
So we'll see. I'm excited. I'm predicting we're going to go 8-2, 8-3 this year. I think we have a chance to compete for the SEC championship on Are we still playing for that? I can't remember now if we still have that SEC championship or
Yeah,
how
we
they
still got
did.
the SEC championship. It's just not the East and the West. It's just going to be, I think, the teams with the best 2 records.
Okay, so it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. That's going to be a good trip.
So it says will feature it going forward from 24. It will feature the top 2 teams in the conference standings.
Yeah.
So the top 2 teams will go. So sometimes it'll be more than just record because you could have 3 or 4 teams that have the same record, but then I guess it goes against head-to-head, conference wins versus non-conference, things like that. I think they'll have a pecking order like that.
We started a new playoff system. Is it this year or next year?
It's this year. It could have been last year, but they voted against it a few years ago.
Yeah. Top 12 teams, that's going to, is it 8 or 12? I can't remember.
It's 12.
12.
So the top 4 get a
bye. So it's going to be interesting to see how football turns out this year. A lot of changes, and and watching the softball turn like this division, I kind of like that concept, because it gives the smaller schools a chance to participate with the bigger guys. Because like I was saying earlier, who would expect Texas State or Southeast Louisiana to be competing at the levels they're competing at today at the regionals? So
it's true.
It's going to be good. It's going to be fun. I'm excited about it. And I'm excited. When I get off here, I'm going to put that back and forth between Texas State and Alabama. Of course, Alabama, we're up 12-2, so that game will be over. We're at the top of the 4th, so if we keep going like it's going to be over. But
sometimes in that 5th, 6th, 7th inning, things kind of get sideways around that time.
Well, yesterday Texas State was down, and they came back in the 4th inning.
Right.
Had a couple of runs, then it had a grand slam, and it was all over them in the least. And you just never know who's going to hit those home runs. That girl that hit that grand slam, I think she's only hit like 1 or 2 all year type things. She's not typically the home run hitter that you look at, y'all, or expect. But all of a sudden, she got a grand slam. And then you could just see that momentum change, the swing. I mean, you're kind of playing and you're back and forth and stuff like that. But all of a sudden, these girls get hot and that momentum picks up and just good, solid softball, just hit after hit after hit, just for the runs and stuff. That's what makes it fun.
Enough.
So what else you got going on this week?
There's a big inspection going on at work this week. Friday, I'm taking the day off because of the holiday, make it a 4-day weekend. That's about. I got a concert this week. I almost forgot. I got one on Tuesday. It's the Metal Crushes All Tour, featuring Amon Amarth as the headliner. Just below them is Cannibal Corpse, then Obituary, then Frozen Soul. Bought the VIP package, the Amon Amarth Viking Valhalla Experience. This comes with a general admission ticket into the pit, early entry into the venue, exclusive photo opportunity on an Amon Amarth Viking ship prior to your raiding, meet and greet photo opportunity with one of the band, photo opportunity to raise the Thor hammer on stage, signed lithograph, VIP tour laminate, and I will get to be on the side of the stage for the first 3 songs.
Don't be doing like you did in the past, jumping off of that stage. Somebody might not catch you.
I'm not going to be doing that. I won't be doing that.
Knowing you, I wouldn't say that was a guarantee. You subject to most anything.
That's true. But yeah, I'll be for the first 3 songs. I'll be on the side of the stage, which is really cool. The last time I got to do something like that was with Trivium, and that was really cool.
That's what makes it fun when you do this stuff just on the spur of the moment type thing. Yeah. That's what memories are made of, right?
Mm-hmm. see when there's another release for Garrison Brothers, when they're going to release any more of their different bourbons. I can't find anything. May, I think they released their Laguna Madre. I don't know. I'll
Yeah.
have to get on
Have
their
to-
socials and look. I can't find anything right now. But speaking of socials, we've been doing pretty good on our downloads, and we've been really good on the international stuff. You're going to be blown away here, Dad.
All right.
So this month so far, 68 downloads from the US and from Canada,
Okay.
5 from Australia, 2 from New Zealand, 1 from Denmark, 1 from the UK, and 1 from the Philippines. You know,
All right.
for a lot of podcasts, you know, they do that probably one day or more. But, you know, for us, and even after missing a week, we have hit all 5 of the English speaking countries
That's pretty
this month
good.
in the
So what's
same
our
month. Yeah.
total download so far?
3,500,
Okay.
3,541 all-time downloads.
Well, we're getting there.
So we're getting there. We're slow but steady. We got to be a little more consistent. Maybe
Well,
if
we
things slow down at work or whatever, maybe we could do 2 podcasts a week or something, you know, do a Sunday and a Wednesday or something like that.
Yeah, we could do that. And then last week was Mother's Day, so it was kind of hard to
Get away and do something.
Yeah. So we got to do a field trip here pretty soon.
We do. I bought a new mixer or whatever you call it, a Roadcaster Duo, and I've got my phone hooked up to it via Bluetooth.
Oh, okay.
So I'm hoping we can test this out. We can do a test podcast, you know, just do a test run, see if Mom can call us or something on the phone and see if she can hear us and we can hear her.
Young Bobby and I are talking. He wants to come on and join us. He wants to. So now you got it hooked up. I'll talk to him about next week and see if he
Well,
can
he
join
can
us.
also join from his computer too.
Yeah. Well, he's like you. He's pretty tech savvy. He's not like us old farts. He's got a lot of stuff going on. And the other day I went with him to take his Porsche. He's got a 95. I think it's 95 Porsche. He bought for $1,500. It was sitting out in the woods and stuff like that. He's redoing it. Well, it's nice. And we took it over to the University City area. He was putting a new top on it and stuff like that.
Okay.
He's pretty good at that stuff. He'd be interesting to have on.
Yeah, it would. He might be a good recurring guest to have on. Talk about cars and things like that. I think he could bring an interesting dynamic.
And you know, he has his own business now, and he's an advisor, and he has his own programs that he's selling to all these car manufacturers and dealerships and stuff like that. He's working on a deal now, and if it comes through for him, it's going to be a big payday for him. He's pretty intuitive guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll have to keep that in mind and maybe come up with some topics before we go on with him.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll reach out to him next week because in his health he's doing, you know, he has a lot of bad health and with the pacemakers and all those kind of, but he's doing really, really good.
Okay.
Just telling me he needs to get a haircut.
You know what? I also forgot. So not only do I have a concert on Tuesday, Friday and Saturday are, you can go to both days or one day, doesn't matter. It's my 40th high school reunion this weekend coming up.
It's your 40th what?
High school reunion. 40 years.
Oh, wow.
40 years, Dad.
That means you're getting old.
Well, you just hit 60 last year, didn't you?
Yeah. So
it was it in 63 you graduated high school or 62?
62. Graduated in 62. So
okay,
48
so
and
62 years ago.
Yeah. So it's been a while. But I still got some fun. And that's why a while ago it was just really important that we give a shout out to old Bruce. I want to tell you, he was just a good old boy. You would have enjoyed hanging out with him. He was fun. He was just fun. We do some crazy stuff. Him riding those horses like me. Remember you riding that
motorcycle?
motorcycle in Georgia, doing some crazy shit, but that's what makes it fun.
It is.
Yeah, and it was sad when I learned that he had got killed in action in Vietnam. So, and I don't remember now, but I want to say that was probably his second, third, or fourth tour, something like that. Yeah, but I guarantee you, he's in combat. People on the other side, they got their money's worth because Bruce was going to throw it to you.
Okay.
Yeah, he was a real dude. All right, we got that. Carolyn gonna be mad at us. We're 35 minutes here.
Yeah, we've been at 35 minutes. But you know what? Making up for last week. Let's just call it that.
Do I?
I said we'll call it a makeup from last week.
There you go. Time and over split it between the two. That means we're about 17 and a half minutes here in each one, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. Good enough.
All right. Well, give Brenda and Mackenzie a big hug for us. Tell everybody hello and wish you a lot of luck. Your mom and I are so proud of you, what you've accomplished and what you're doing, and it shows in your three daughters. And I'm really proud of that Erica with her beehives and what she's posted, collecting that bees and getting stung in the hair. That was pretty neat. Not neat she got stung, but what she's doing and how she's doing it, I was pretty proud of her.
Before we get out of here, more good news. I got a text from Peter this weekend, and he has been accepted for a master's degree program at Nazarene Theological Seminary. He just found out this week.
How nice.
Yep, he's going to be getting his master's at the Nazarene Theological Seminary. I'm very very proud of him. Very happy for him. He's never wavered in his dream of becoming a pastor, and he's made it happen.
Yes, he did. He's a great father, and
he's just an inspiration to never give up on your dreams.
I'm just really proud of him and Kaylee and all the girls.
Like 15 years ago, he was working as a certified nursing assistant or whatever, CNA, at an old folks home.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's got a small parish, that he's a pastor of in Washington State.
He's doing well. So a big shout out to all of them.
Yep. Congratulations. And like you said, my middle daughter, she's getting on into that beekeeping, and everything's doing fine with them. She was able to get in there and look and found the queen, and the hive is thriving. So yeah, we're doing good. We've all been blessed. So thank you all. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for following us. We really appreciate your patience and understanding with us sometimes missing an episode. We enjoy having you. Thank you. Sorry we're going long, but a lot of good stuff happened this week, and I want to make sure we mention it to everybody.
And big shout out to Texas State. I'm going to be rooting for them big time this afternoon. Sorry, A&M.
All right.
All right.
Take care, everybody. Thank you. Love you, Dad.
Right, love you guys. Bye.
All right. Love you guys. Bye.